The Public Health Agency of Canada has ordered all existing COVID-19 vaccines to be destroyed, which has created a lot of speculation online and in various medical communities. So let's dig in. On August 27, 2024, various provincial and territorial health authorities apparently received direction from the Public Health Agency of Canada to withdraw all COVID-19 XBB vaccines in Canada. Removing these novel biological products that have been mass injected into the global population in an unprecedented handling of a seasonal respiratory pathogen is exactly what we've been petitioning Health Minister Mark Holland to do at nomoreshots.ca, which has garnered almost 40,000 signatures and features extensive evidence-based reports on this very topic. While I originally wanted to take this odd instruction from the offshoot of Health Canada as a win, it's been done under the guise that it will lead to the imminent authorization of the latest formulations, the KP.2 booster, which I guess they're not called boosters anymore because science. Now, the original notice from Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kieran Moore, goes on to say that the decision is part of the regulatory submission of the KP.2 formulations to Health Canada for the upcoming fall 2024 respiratory illness campaign. But the instruction to destroy the shots is where it gets a little bit fishy. As a requirement of the regulator, Health Canada, the Ontario Ministry of Health is required to quarantine remaining supply of viable XBB vaccines starting on September 1st, 2024, and follow local practices and process for the destruction of these vaccines. Neither Health Canada nor the Public Health Agency of Canada has done this in the past. Instead, they jumped through hoops to ensure what they referred to as life-saving products stayed on the market by extending expiry dates, reducing storage and transportation requirements, etc., instead of taking the novel injections off of the market completely. But as former regulatory drug pricing specialist and ex-pharmacy manager Maria Gucci told me in conversation, the decision is clouded in even more mystery. First of all, the directive came from the Public Health Agency of Canada, who actually doesn't have the legal mandate to make this order. Only Health Canada has the authority to authorize, approve, or otherwise remove food and drug products from the market. This change in the standard operating procedure, acronymed SOP, signals a significant shift in the decision-making process at Health Canada and deserves scrutiny, especially given the lack of transparency seen by both agencies as it pertains to things like DNA contamination issues and the presence of concerning plasmids like the SV40 promoter. As posted in the notice to vaccinators from Dr. Moore, Health Canada will remove the strain identifier, that's XBB/KP.2, etc., from the naming convention of the COVID-19 vaccine products to enable the assignment of one drug identification number, that's a DIN, for each presentation on an ongoing basis. Gucci tells me that this means there will no longer be separate identifiers for the various doses, and all of the old DINs have been withdrawn. Now, they're saying that the new vaccines will have this same DIN, which is kind of bizarre. For the XBB vaccines, there were originally several different DINs covering various combinations like single dose versus multi-dose, kids versus adults, and different dosages depending on the age demographic. For instance, babies aged 6 months to under 5 years old were to receive 3 micrograms of mRNA per 0.2 milliliter doses. 5 years to 12 years were to receive 10 micrograms of mRNA per 0.3 milliliter doses, and those aged 12 and up were to receive 30 micrograms of mRNA per 0.3 milliliter doses. Now, the big question is whether this means we'll see a reduction in options, no more single dose, no more multi-dose, or perhaps no vaccines specifically for kids. That's a major shift that raises a lot of concerns about what's really going on behind the scenes at Health Canada, making it even more shifty that the agency didn't publicly release this statement. It's only through various provincial and health authorities that the directive has been disclosed. So what exactly was the directive, and why are certain provinces like British Columbia, who's ensuring those who want all the vaccines are able to get them without a gap in availability, disregarding this instruction? Well, I reached out to Health Canada to ask just that. Who directed provincial health authorities to destroy all existing XBB 1.5 COVID-19 vaccines, the Public Health Agency of Canada or Health Canada? Where can the public view the directive sent from the Federal Health Agency? Why has it not been made publicly available thus far? What was the standard operating protocol or procedure for previous COVID-19 vaccine formulations when new variant formulations came onto the market? Why is this different? Why was it decided that the KP.2 formulation would have a single DIN code? Will there continue to be different strengths and presentations of the new formulation? What is the reasoning behind this decision? Now, I also reached out to British Columbia's Health Ministry to ask, what was the exact wording of the directive from the Public Health Agency of Canada, PHAC? Is it posted publicly anywhere? Why or why not? Why has BC decided not to comply with this directive? Is BC aware that the KP.2 formulation will have a single DIN code? Will there continue to be different strengths and presentations of the new formulation? Now, neither agency responded to this request. If Health Canada continues with authorization of the latest variant formulation, it will follow in the footsteps of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which authorized the novel variant formulation based on essentially hopium, as explained by mRNA inventor Robert Malone to my colleague Alexa Lavoie last week.
And what was fascinating about that was that the person in charge of vaccines at the FDA, Peter Marks, when he was speaking about this, he repeatedly used the term hope, that they hope that this will work. They hope that it will work better than the other ones. They don't actually have the information. This is not really ethical to deploy this based on hope rather than scientific data. They don't have the data and the information from clinical testing to support their claims, and yet they're still recommending this all the way down to babies based on their hope that it might work and that it might not be as toxic as the other versions.
When the panel said, listen, give it to 6-month-old babies with zero assurances this possibly would be safe. I said, where were you the day when the WHO came out and said, do not use remdesivir in the hospital? I'm Dr. Peter McCullough. Join me for an evening together. Tickets are on sale now.
At this exact same time last year, Health Canada announced authorization of the new Moderna Spikevax COVID-19 injection targeting the Omicron XBB 1.5 subvariant for those aged 6 months and up after 5 masked and socially distanced health overlords took center stage on September 12th, 2023.
NACI is reaffirming its guidance on the use of COVID-19 vaccines this fall. NACI recommends authorized age groups get an updated COVID-19 vaccine dose this fall, 6 months after the last vaccine dose or infection. If it has been more than 6 months since your last dose of COVID-19 vaccine or your last infection, your protection from the virus may have waned. Receiving a COVID-19 vaccine dose this fall with an updated formulation is expected to increase individual protection against infection, symptoms, and severe disease.
The regulatory decision stated that the safety, reactogenicity, and immunogenicity of Spikevax XBB 1.5 are evaluated in an ongoing phase 2-3 open-label study in participants 18 years of age and older. Now, according to the National Institute of Health's clinical trial data website, that study was not estimated to be completed until November 17th, 2023, which was nearly 12 weeks out from the time of Health Canada's authorization. To this day, the study results are not posted. When I reached out to the agency at that time to inquire how they were establishing or assessing safety in those under the age of 18, they told me to go ask the manufacturer. And now, as reported by the Ottawa Citizen, and I quote, "The move is the result of a contractual agreement between Health Canada and the vaccine manufacturers, according to government sources," end quote. So does this directive come from Pharma or Health Canada? Does Health Canada make its own independent decisions anymore, or is it merely following the directives and whims of the pharmaceutical companies? The lack of transparency surrounding this and other decisions and the actions of Health Canada raises concerns about the true nature of the regulatory process and whether it prioritizes public health or industry interests. Will safety issues and the contaminants discovered in the previous versions be removed in the KP.2 formulations, most aren't holding their breath. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you like this report and would like to see more like it, you can sign up so you never miss one at nomoreshots.ca. At that website, you can also support these kinds of journalistic efforts. If you appreciate them, sign our petition and send a form email calling on Federal Minister of Health Mark Holland to completely revoke market authorization for these novel injections. That's nomoreshots.ca.